Yeah, I'm so excited to again have the opportunity to share with you the living word of God. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. Well, in around 3 minutes' time, we will get started on the subject of the 10 indisputable laws of goal setting. My name is Pastor Errol Williams, and I'm glad and excited to be here with you this evening. Well, we get started in 3 minutes. Maybe you want to text someone, just give them the website and get them to go there at cogop.com, which is where you are, or not. If you're at Facebook Live or if you're at YouTube, you can pick it up in any of those three places. That's where we're streaming live to tonight. And you can actually invite anyone to come along to join us tonight. We do go from 9 p.m. to 10:30. Now, if you have any questions or any comments for me, you can actually either text them to me, put them in the chat room, or you can actually call me on a number I'm about to give you shortly. So I'd love for you to get involved, love for you to call me and interact and participate in tonight's studies. It's 10 indisputable laws of goal setting. Indisputable in the sense that you cannot dispute it. It's indisputable. They work all the time in any generation or culture of people. It is the same and it's true all throughout. So good evening to you and to your family, and wishing you guys all the very best. So in 2 minutes time we will get started, and I have some slides I want to share with you tonight. Now you can see at the bottom there is a text that's scrolling at the bottom of your screen, and you can call me even from now. You can pick up the phone right now and call me on 0203-289-4567, and I'll be more than happy to respond to your call immediately. You can also text me on my mobile number, which is the mobile numbers coming along the screen, 079-5687-2141. I have my phone right here, and I will address any comments that you have for me straight away. Now, if you're at YouTube, then you can actually use the chat facility. I'll just bring that up here. This is what it looks like. I want to say good evening to Pat and Lucas, and thank you so much for joining me this evening. It is indeed a pleasure to have you guys with us this evening, and I'm so grateful that you guys could join us. Thank you so much for coming online tonight. And if you have any questions for me, please put them in the chat room or text them to me, or indeed you can actually call the number at the bottom of your screen that will appear shortly. All right, I believe I have a text already, which is great. Well, good evening to you also, Brother Clive and Brother Christy. Thank you so much for joining tonight. Appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate that very much. And for everyone else I know there's quite a few people at YouTube at the moment. I want to say welcome to you all. And if you have any questions for me, you can put those in the chat room. And I do have the chat room right here before me. And also, if you're at Facebook Live, which is on my other computer over here, then I'll be able to address any questions or comments that you may have for me. I hope your sound quality is okay. The picture quality is okay. Everything seems to be working fine from my end. I spent all day making sure that everything works all right, and it seems to be working fine in all directions, so I'm grateful for that. All right, then we're going to get started then, because time waits for no man, and it is a joy and a privilege indeed to have the opportunity to share with you tonight. So let's get started then, and I will be right back in just a moment. welcome to our Monday Night Bible Studies with Pastor Errol Williams. We are here to study to show ourselves approved unto God, a workman that needed not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. This is taken from 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 15. And what a joy and a privilege to be with you here tonight on this Monday Night Bible Studies. As I said again, if you wish to contact me, you can do so on the number at the bottom of the screen, 0203-289-4567, or you can text me on 079-5687-2141, or you can leave a message in the chat room and I will pick that up. And as soon as you make connection with me, I will, as soon as I see it, should I say, I will certainly stop what I'm doing and address the point immediately. Well, my subject tonight is the 10 indisputable laws of goal setting. This is what I spoke about last week, and I would like to, no doubt, share some more information with you in regards to that, and we will go from there. And it is indeed a phenomenal subject. I must say it's an amazing subject, and one that I have benefited from greatly over the years, and I'm sure that you too will benefit greatly from it. And I want to share with you 10 key things that I have discovered from the scriptures, and I will share that with you in a moment. So these are biblical points, really, biblical points that I want to share with you in regards to the 10 indisputable laws of goal setting. Now, what do I mean by indisputable? That means to say that all these points I'm about to share with you stand true in all generations. Let me just close this window behind me. One moment. Yes, I was getting a lot of sound coming through from the window I opened earlier. So what I mean by indisputable laws is that these points stand true in all generation, in all culture, and at all times. Whoever breaks these laws have to pay a price. Whoever obeys them benefits greatly. They are true to everyone. That's why it's indisputable. That's why it's called a law. It's just like the law of gravity applies to everyone, so does these laws of goal setting. Before I proceed any further, I just wanted to, just for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm just going to introduce myself, just very, very briefly, just show you a few slides as to who I am and what I do and so on, and just quickly just run through that. Errol Williams, Errol Ainsworth Williams, and all my contact details are on the screen. If ever you wish to contact me, you can always reach me at that number, that email address, or indeed that website. And the website also has all the information that you need to contact me also. I'm 59 years of age, actually. Born in 1959, so this year I will be 59. And lived in the UK, Jamaica, and came back here in the UK. I'm happily married with 6 children and 6 grandchildren. I have been actively involved in the community now for over 37 years. Spent 25 of those years running courses in different prisons: Holloway Prison, Felton Prison, and Wormwood Scrubs. Last 15 years I've been a senior pastor, and within that, regional overseer. I've spent over 10 years teaching on systematic theology courses and so on. I also sit on the Church of God of Prophecy UK Trust as one of the trustees of that organization. Other community involvements that I've been involved, I was indeed a co-founder and executive chairman of one of Europe's largest community projects, which was launched in 1988 by His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales. And on the right, you will see me with a picture with the Atumfu Ozitutu The second, the king of the Ashanti tribe in Ghana. As a matter of fact, he used to report to me and work for us in that particular project as our personnel manager a very long time ago. I've been involved in management training now for over 34 years. I've trained thousands of managers and leaders and unemployed people over those years. I'm also a motivational speaker. These are some of the courses that I've taught over the last 34 years. These are courses that I have designed, that I have taught upon and evaluated. These courses. It has been, I would say, an amazing journey. As you can see, number 12 is goal setting on that list of courses that I have ran for other companies and people and so on. These are some of the people that I've had the opportunity of running the courses for. These are some of the clients which I have worked for. And I must say, on point number 12 there, number 12, I was a freelance trainer for John Matchett. And also number 8, number 15, and number 18, in fact. And between those 4 organizations, I've probably visited another 100 companies running training courses. So those companies are not listed there. I didn't list them because it was their clients and I was working on their behalf. I'm the author of 4 books. I don't know why I'm coughing so much. I'm the author of these 4 books. And you can see here, Pursuing Excellence, Tips for Dealing with Difficult Conversations, Sowing for Blessing, and The Temptation Trap. And no doubt, by the end of this year, one of my goals for this year is to produce my 5th book, which is called Building a Dream. You know, Building a Dream. BAD, I call it, Building a Dream, which is really my experience and the lessons learned from building this dream in regards to this project. So I'm sharing a lot of my experiences and lessons learned from that particular project. My interest, I'm a qualified bricklayer, believe it or not. Amazing. I had that qualification since the age of 16, 17. I was a candidate for the general election in 2010. Didn't get a seat, obviously. I'm a professional photographer, web designer, and internet expert. I have played cricket. I don't play as much as I used to. Backgammon, dominoes, and chess. I play a lot now. I'm a soft skills trainer. And my passion really is to help people improve their lives. That's one of the reasons why I do these Monday night Bible studies as well as Thursday night. So every Thursday at the same location, I will be running some personal development tips, and I'll probably share that with you towards the end. So that's enough about me. I just wanted to let those who don't know me just get an understanding of who it is that's speaking to you. All right. First question I really want to address in the 10 indisputable laws of goal setting really is, why set goals? And the reason why we need to set goals is because 25% of people abandon their New Year's resolution within the first week. Only 3% of the population write their goals down. Only 3%. And it's interesting to note that the wealth of the world is in the hand of the 97%, and is in the hand of the 3%. Sorry, and the 97% work for the 3%. The wealth is in the hand of the 3%, and the 97% work for the 3%. And this is phenomenal. That's one of the reasons why you need to set your own goals, so that you can have people working for you. Most people aim at nothing in life, and they hit it with amazing accuracy. Now, by setting goals, you will take control of your life. That's the fundamental point, that you will take control of your life. You will focus on important things in life. You will also be self-confident and enthusiastic. You will make good decisions, and that's important. Not only that, you will finish tasks efficiently, You won't waste time. You will save yourself a lot of stress, time, energy, and money by setting goals. You will make good progress, and you will have a very, very successful life. And that's the reason why I would strongly recommend that you set goals. If you don't set goals, then you will have the opposite of what has been listed here. Now, there are 3 zones I would like to share with you about goal setting. You have what we call the comfort zone. That's where most people are. They're comfortable. It's where they are used to, and it's safe. You know, it's safe. You don't have to take any risks and so on. Then you have the discomfort zone, which is what takes you outside of the comfort zone, and it stretches you beyond the comfort zone. And then you have the delusional zone. It's a confused state. You really don't know where you're going. Things are really not clear and are very uncertain. Now, as I go through these 10 indisputable laws of goal setting, I'd like for you to move into, if you like, the discomfort zone. Your dream needs to be bigger than you. That makes you uncomfortable. You see, most people like to do what's easy and what's comfortable, the comfort zone. A lot of people have no goals, and it's just delusional. They're just not with it, if you like. They don't have no clear direction or directives of where they're going. Now, if I go through this, and as I go through this, if you feel uncomfortable, that's really what I want to do tonight, is to make you uncomfortable so that you stretch yourself beyond the boundaries. One of the things I often say to people is, be around people who stretch you. Be around people who take you out of your comfort zone and stretch you. And this is exactly what we need to do. So when we talk about the 3 zones of goal setting, my goal and my target is to have you in the discomfort zone, to stretch you beyond where you are right now. All right, here is my first indisputable laws of goal setting. You must own the goal. Now, the wise man Solomon says, and I've just quoted him in my way, we're going to look at a scripture in a moment. If you have no goal, this is really what I believe he's saying. If you really have no goal, you lose self-control. If you keep this law, you will be happy. Now, let's go to that scripture for a moment. Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 18. Let me just check the chat room for a moment. And, okay, perfect. No one has sent me any messages. Either place is perfect. Let's carry on then. Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 18 is a beautiful place to start. Proverbs 29:18. And it says, where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he. Where there is no revelation from God, where there is no open revelation, where there's no direction or vision or goal, the people throw off restraint, or the people lose that self-control. But he that keepeth this law, you see, it is a law. That's why it's called an indisputable law of goal setting. That if you don't have a goal in life, you will perish. If you don't have one, you will lose self-control. You will lose focus. You won't make good decisions. You won't be successful as you would like to be. Because how can you if you have nothing to aim at? Just doesn't make no sense. So it's very, very important, therefore, that you have goals in life. Going back to that particular point, if you have no goal for you or for your family or for your church or for your organization, you lose self-control. Okay? Going back to this picture here, is that you will lose self-control. You will lose focus because there is nothing to focus on. You have no focus. So there can't be anything to focus on because there is no focus, because the vision is the focus. Does that make sense? You won't be confident and enthusiastic. You won't make good decisions because you won't be making decisions in line with where you're going. You won't be able to finish tasks efficiently, because what tasks are there to finish if you don't have any goals to work towards? So it's very, very important that you own the goal. Very important. You must have a vision. You must have a goal. Now, when I speak about goals and vision and purpose, I'm speaking about the exact same thing. I'm speaking about the exact same thing. There's no difference in what I'm talking about here. So, you cannot own something you don't have. This is a statement that I put in that slide. You cannot own something you don't have. If you don't have it, you can't own it. If you don't have a goal, if you don't have a vision, if you don't have a purpose, then you just can't own it. Now, goals come from three directions. You can get a goal, you can get a vision or a purpose from God, as in the case of Joseph. Joseph dreamt a dream that his brothers and his father and mother was bowing down to him, the sun and the moon and so on and so forth. And that was a dream from God. Moses, who led the children of Israel out of Egypt, also had a vision from God. Jesus, who came to earth to save sinners from their sins, also had a vision from God and that he was fulfilling. So likewise, we as Christians or individuals can have a dream, a vision, a goal from God as to what God wants us to fulfill in our lives. Goals also come from others. So if you're working in a company right now, then they're no doubt paying you. And the reason why they're paying you is that they're paying you for you to help them fulfill their goal. Think about that. You are helping them to fulfill their goal. If you're working, let's say you're in the church, well, you're helping that church to fulfill the goal of the pastor and the leadership team, as an example. Now, I work for the Church of God of Prophecy. I report to Bishop Ted Roy, and he has his goal that no doubt he received from the Lord, or even goals that he has decided to go after. Well, I have to own those goals as if they were mine, even though I didn't set them. And this is the point I'm trying to make here now. Whether God gives you a dream or vision, a goal or not, whether it comes from your employer or from the community organization that you're involved in, or whichever direction it comes from, or whether it comes from you, then you must make sure you own it as though it is yours. Does that make sense? You got to own it. If you don't own it, then it doesn't belong to you. You cannot own something you don't have. If you don't own that dream, if you don't own it, you'll never work towards it. You'll never work towards it. And so it's important that you understand the first indisputable laws of goal setting is that you must have a goal. Because if you have no goal, you lose self-control and a lot of other things. If you keep this law, because remember, it's a law that anyone that doesn't have a goal will perish or will throw off self-control. It's a law. That's a law within itself. If you have no vision, you perish. Anyone on the planet who doesn't have a goal will perish, and that's the fact. And so it's an indisputable argument straight away. So make sure you own the goal. Take the goal personal by owning them. Whether it comes from God, whether it comes from your superiors, whether it comes from your peers or not, make sure you own them. Now, I joined a community organization many years ago, and when I got there, they had already set the goals. The goals was already in place. And as I joined that organization, I made those goals personal to me. In other words, it was as if I had set those goals. So now I'm working to fulfill and to achieve those goals as though they were mine. I like what Jesus said. He said, the zeal of the Lord's house has eaten me up. He had a vision and a dream from God as to what to do. And I could say the zeal of that vision that I had for that community organization had eaten me up, because I was working night and day. I was completely sold out to that dream, to that goal, to that vision, to that purpose. Now, the third person to set goals is yourself. And it amazes me how Christians are so amazing in that they think that God is the only one that sets goals for Christians. No, God has allowed you to have your own goals. God has allowed you to set your own goals, for you to decide what you want in life. God has given you the privilege for you to choose what you want in life. So don't make the mistake of thinking, well, everything I go in pursuit of is got to be given by God. And as a matter of fact, it can't be. Now, I'm going to come to where you can set your goals, and you will see exactly what I mean by this. But don't think to yourself that God has got to give you a goal for every aspect of your life. No, that's foolishness. That's utter foolishness. There's no biblical pattern to suggest that God sets all the goals that you want. God will give you a goal or more goals than one for your life. Other people will give you goals, and you will set your own goal. Classic example of a goal. You decide you want to go and pass your driving test. It wasn't God who gave you that. You decided you wanted to go for your driving test, and so on and so forth. You decide you want to go on holiday twice a year. That's your goal. That's up to you. You decide you want to lose 1 stone. Well, that's your goal. And so God allows you to have it. Let me finally say, whether God gives you the goal, or whether you get the goal from your superiors or your peers, or whether you get the goal set by yourself, you must own them and take them personal as if it was your own. So the dream and the goal that my Bishop Ted Roy has set is not just his goal. It's my goal. You see the point? Because I've taken it personal. It's personal to me now. Praise the Lord for that. Now, let me move on to the second indisputable laws of goal setting. Write the goal. Write the goal. Do you know, I came across this statement and I was mesmerized by it many years ago. It says you are 42% more likely to achieve your goals if you write them down. Now that is really truly amazing. You've got a 42% head start if you write the goals down. Now some people say to me, I don't need to write it down. Really? Then how are you going to remember them? How are you going to do that? Especially if you've got 10, 15, 20, 30 things you want to achieve in your lifetime. How are you going to remember that? Your brain and your memory that great? Might be. Now, I have had the privilege and opportunity to travel to some amazing companies in Europe and certain parts of the world. And I've never been to an organization that didn't have a written goal of what it was in business to achieve. They write it in their memorandum and article of association, or in their constitution, or in their trust document. Whatever document they work by and operate by, it's written in there what their purpose is for the organization and what they're in business to do. So companies obey this. No wonder Jesus said the children of this world, are far more smarter than the children of light. Because the world obey this indisputable law of goal setting. Now let's go to the scriptures again. Habakkuk, we're going to look at now, chapter 2 and verse 2 and 3. Here we are. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2 and 3. And what does it say? And the Lord answered me and said. Now, this was not Habakkuk who said this. This is Habakkuk telling us what the Lord said. The Lord had told him, write the vision. Wow, come on. Why should he write it, Lord? Well, because you're 42% more likely to achieve it. I think that's good enough answer. I think that's an amazing answer, in fact. That if you write your goals, you're 42% more likely to achieve it. I remember many years ago, I was told to write my goals. And I really was in a very frustrating place at the time. I really was. It was really frustrating for me. I really wasn't getting anywhere fast. It seemed as if I was going backwards at times. But someone advised me to write my goals down. And I sat down for 9 hours doing it. And I thought about, and I'm going to show you the areas that I looked at in a moment, 8 areas I call the wheel of life. And I wrote my goals in each of these areas and really did it the way the person told me to. And I cannot explain to you the amazing feeling that overcame me when I had finished. And it's almost, I felt almost as if I had achieved them already. I really did. It really was an amazing feeling that I sat down for 9 hours. I have never sat down for 9 hours since then. And that was over 20 odd years ago. And I have achieved many of those goals with amazing accuracy. And in fact, I have superseded what I had put down on the sheet of paper that day. Now, what I am saying is this, is God told Habakkuk to what? Write the goal, write the vision. So I strongly recommend that you do so. You obey this indisputable law. The other day I met with my girls and I decided to share the goals with them and see to get their approval as to what we would do as a family throughout this year. And I wrote down around 7 things I shared with them, and they all agreed with them. And as I was driving around, I tried to remember the 7 things on the list. I couldn't remember it. I think I remembered 2. Anyway, that's why do companies do it? Okay, companies do it, so must be something in it. Now, when you write the goal, I suggest that you write the goals in the following 8 areas. In other words, what's your goal for your health and your fitness? Maybe you may have some health issues right now. What's your goal for this year, say to the end of 2018? What's your goal? What is it that you would like to achieve? Write it down. If it's about losing weight, if it's about your fitness level, write it down. Write it down. If you'd like to get down to a dress size or a shirt size, write it down. Make a list of it. 2, 3, 4, 5 things. It doesn't matter how much it is. Just write down the things that you'd like to achieve in your health, regarding your health, by the end of the year. Maybe you're on medication right now and you'd like to come off medication. You know, obviously through the doctor's advice, obviously. Write it down. Write down your goal for your health, you know, what you'd like to eat or drink and so on and so forth. Write it down. Make a list of it. Secondly, what's your goal for your personal development? Remember this. No one pays you per hour in the workplace. It's not true. It's fictitious. It's a lie. No one pays you per hour. That's what they tell you, and that's how they work out your salary, they say. But let me tell you what you get paid for in the workplace. You don't get paid per hour. You get paid for the value that you bring to the marketplace. So the more you increase your value, the more you increase your wealth. It's a fact. Wealth is attached to knowledge. Now, when you develop your personal development, there are 3 areas you want to focus on developing in terms of your personal development. You want to make sure you develop your attitude, skills, and knowledge. ASK. You want to make sure you develop personal development, you develop your attitude, your skills, and the knowledge. Because the more you develop your attitude, skills, and knowledge, is the more you're worth. The more money you make, the more confident you become, the more powerful you become, and the more people want to be in your presence when you develop yourself add value to yourself every day. Your community involvement. What involvement do you have? Are you engaged in your community? Maybe you're engaged in a church or a community project. That's what I mean by community involvement. What's your goal for that? What's your goal? If you're involved in a church and you're involved in a team within that church, what's your goal? What are you trying to achieve for 2018? Because come December 2018, you should be able to review and look back and say, well, did we achieve what we set out to do? What really is your career? What is your gifting? What is it that you're good at? What is it that you want to develop in? What's your career? What's your goal for that career? What's your goal for your family in terms of, let's say, holiday or whatever? What's your goal? Write them down. What's your goal for your finance? How much money would you like to make this year? Write it down. What's your goal for your social life? How would you like to socialize this year? What's your plan? What's your goal for socializing this year? One of my social goals for this year is to meet up with the guys at least once or twice every week to play dominoes. There's a saying that says you must work hard and play hard. What's your goal for your spiritual life? What's your spiritual goals? Has God given you a goal? If not, what's your spiritual goal? Where would you like to be by the end of this year, 2018? If you don't write it down, then the chances are you're not going to do it. Behind me here, you will see what we call a wheel of life. I hope you can see it. It's called a wheel of life, listing those 8 areas. And oftentimes what I say to people to do is plot what you feel is your score on the chart between 0 and 10, 10 being the highest. So in terms of your health, from 0 to 10, what would you give it? Would you give your health a 50% right now? Or will you give it, let's say, a 7? What's your score for personal development? And when you go through this and fill it in, then try to join them up and see whether you get a full circle or whether you get a kind of like a jagged wheel. And what you really want in life really is a balance. Really what you want is a balance, to achieve a balance. It'd be good to have the full circle of 10, isn't it? In all areas. 10 in your spiritual life, 10 in your finances, 10 in your personal development, and so on. That may not be realistic, but who knows? But what's your goal? And when you join those, you might say to yourself, I want to balance this out by the end of the year, or I want to increase it and push it out. So if I had a 5 for health and fitness, I want a 7 for health and fitness by the end of this year. Something like that. I hope that makes sense. Let me just check the chat room to see if there's anything going on there. Okay, nothing at all. Okay. Right. Now, let's move on then with indisputable law number 3. No impatience. You see, what is important here is that, in fact, in the Habakkuk scripture, let's go back to that. He says, make it plain and table that he may run that reader. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak or not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it. You see that? Wait for it. Because it will surely come. It will not tarry. It will not tarry. So here God is saying quite clearly, wait. The goal is for an appointed time, but you're going to have to wait for it. So be patient and wait for it. It may take days, it may take weeks, months, or even years to come. When I think about Joseph as an example, when he was sold into slavery at the age of 17, it took 30 years before he was set free, as it were. 30 years. Now that, 13 years, that's a long time. And there were times that one time when Joseph was really, really, really feeling it. Especially when the baker and the butler was in the prison. And he said to one of them, remember me when you come out. I think that man must have been out around 2 years before he remembered Joseph. It's amazing when you're in prison, no one remembers you. You know, you have lots of friends until you go to prison. When you go to prison, you have no friends. Hardly anyone wants to know you. Beware of some of the enemies of goal setting that will frustrate you in the level of your patience when you're waiting. And it's people, and it's money, and it's time. People will frustrate you nonetheless. They will really frustrate you if you let it. When you tell your dream to people, they really have a way, some people have a way of just cutting you down. And so on. Money can become an obstacle, but don't let that be an obstacle. You know, you have to work around it. And also time. I've heard some people say, you know, time is running out, and therefore, as a result of that, they become very, very impatient. But the goal is for an appointed time, and God says to Habakkuk, wait for it. And so I want to strongly recommend to you that whatever goals you have for this year, at the end of this year, be patient. You've set the goal for December, let's say, but now it's February. You're going to have to work towards it. And it can become very frustrating. Let me give you an example of this. When I was working at Bridge Park, this community project I got involved in, I got involved in 1981. We moved down to the site in 1982. And around 1983, 84, I joined a team down there. And we started to fundraise between that time. And we managed to open the building around 1988. It took a period of around 5 years, and I watched that project from start to finish, almost brick by brick going up, because I was in the porter cabin. It was one of the most frustrating experiences of my entire life, wondering to myself, will they ever start? Will they ever finish? When will they finish? And so on and so forth, until eventually, on the 20th of December 1988, Prince Charles came and launched the project in front of 1,500 people in our sports hall, and obviously people were outside in the car park. But it was really frustrating, I have to admit. The longer away the goal is, the more you have to wait and the more frustrating it can become. So you're going to have to be patient, because if you're not patient, you will sabotage your own dream. Let me say it again. If you're not patient, you may sabotage your own dream. All right. Let me just check the chat room again and see if there is nothing there. And I'll check my text. There's nothing coming through from anywhere. If you're there, just say something to me. Oh, Michael. Hey, how you doing? My goodness. All the way from the United States of America. Welcome, sir. Welcome to you, and thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate that very much. Great to have you, my good friend Michael. All right, now we talked about indisputable law number 3. Let's look at law number 4. Now, this is phenomenal, really, to me, because let's go to the Bible first of all and look at what God said to the prophet. It says here, for the vision is for an appointed time. You see that? For the vision is for an appointed time. When God gives a vision, he may not tell you the appointed time. As in the case of Joseph or Moses and so on. They didn't know the appointed time. But God did. Because God set the dream. So whoever set the goal must have the appointed time. It's very important. Listen. I can't emphasize enough how important it is that you have time scale to the goal that you set, or to know the goal, the time that other people set. You may not know the time that God set, because the goal that God set is in his timing. But when you have time to your goals, it saves yourself a lot of stress, time, energy, and money. A goal without a time and a date is just a wish list. Let me say it again. A goal without time and date is a wish list. So you want to set time and date to every goal that you list. And you need to find out the goal of those whom you're working for. But how are you going to know if you're effective or not if you're not working on the goal of the person who employ you? So it's very important that you set goals. One of the first thing we do, listen to this carefully, one of the first thing we do when we plan an event like a wedding or a holiday, etc., is we set the date and time. Classic example, let's say you and your family, let's say around 20 of you, we're going to the Bahamas to have a family reunion. Okay? So you invite your entire family to come to the Bahamas. But you don't give no one the time and date. You have not given no one the time or date. What's the chances of every one of you, the 20 of you, arriving at the same time, at the same day, at the same location? What is the chance of that happening? Absolutely zilch. Let's say again you were to get married to a beautiful spouse. So you engage and you decide to get married. So you've told your family, you've told all your friends, around 100 people. But you haven't given them the date or time. But you've invited them to come. What's the chance of all those 100 people, the caterers and everybody else, arriving at the same place at the same time and date? Technically, not possible. Now, the moment you are going to plan your marriage, or you're going to plan a christening or baby dedication or whatever you're going to plan, one of the first things you do is set the date and time. So why would you set goals and don't put date and time to it? It's like somebody says, well, I want to lose weight, but there's no time or date put to it. Notice what God says. For the vision is for an appointed time. So I strongly recommend that whatever goals you list, remember what I said before, and I go back to those areas, whatever goals you list, put a date and a time to it. Or else it's just going to be a wish list. Now, it's amazing, you know, I was invited to go to Tenerife for my cousin's 50th birthday. And she booked all my flights and all of that stuff and so on and so forth. But the first question I ask her is, what's the time and date? And let me say again, if you have goals that you have listed or that you're working for and you don't know when it's supposed to be fulfilled, I'm not sure what to say on that one, actually. Better say nothing. All right, so let me say again. When you set time and date to your goal, it's an indisputable law. You're saving yourself stress, time, energy, and money. If you don't have a time or a goal, it's just a wish list. I'm also recommending that you set goals and times to every goal on your list, every one of them, none missing. And one of the first things we do when we're planning any event is that we set the date and the time, because that's what keeps everyone focused and attentive to what's happening. Very, very important. I hope that makes sense. All right. Let me just check the chat room. You lost your sound. Help me there, Sister Pat, if you're there. Let me know if you've got sound. I just want to know why mic sound seems to be coming through from my end. Let me just double test it. Yeah, it's coming through. So Pat, if you can hear me, let me know if you... Sophie, welcome. So glad to see you. Well, to see you. Everyone, Sophie got baptized yesterday. Oh man, am I so happy for her. It was a joy seeing you and your family there, Sophie. Wow, you had a lot of people there. Fantastic. Fantastic stuff. Let me know, Pat or Sophie, if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. Just type in yes, I can hear, or no, I can't. Well, if you can't, then you wouldn't even know I'm asking you. Just want to make sure that the sound is okay, because it seems to be coming through from my end. I hope you all haven't left me and gone. Okay, thank you, Sophie. Appreciate that very much. All right, Michael, you may have to restart again or refresh your page. Okay. Right. Now, where was I now? Make sure, absolutely certain, that you... Okay, thank you very much, Michael. Thank you. Make absolutely certain that whatever goal you have for this year, you put time and date to it. Okay? Because if you're going on holiday, or if you're going to get married, or if you're going to, get baptized, or whatever the case is, one of the first thing you want to know is what's the date and time. Okay? So you want to do the same thing for your goals. All right. It's for an appointed time. The fifth indisputable laws of goal setting, we're halfway through, is that your goals should be realistic and achievable. Okay? You want to ask yourself, can I achieve this in the time that I set? Do I have the ability to achieve this? Do I need to go on more courses? And if you don't do this, it's going to lead to frustration and resignation. Now let's look at the scripture for a moment. And it's interesting here what it says. It says, make it plain upon tables. Make it plain. I'm going to come to that in a moment again. Make it plain on tables. Now, let me go back here. Not only must your goals, okay, be realistic and achievable, but they must also be specific and direct. In other words, don't beat around the bush. Okay, it must be plain. It must be easily understood. So just saying something like, I want to buy a house or I want to lose weight is not plain. It's not specific. But if you say, I will buy a house by Wednesday, the 1st of January, 2020 at 3 p.m., now that's specific and direct. And you may want to ask yourself the question, can I achieve this in the time scale I set? I said I would buy a house on the 1st of January 2020 at 3 p.m. Now, the beautiful thing about setting your goal like this is that you know exactly the date and time as to when this will be fulfilled or achieved. You could even work out to the second how long you have left for that fulfillment of that dream. Now that's powerful stuff. That will keep you focused and away from things that you ought not to be doing, because now you can have purpose and meaning for your life because you have set goals and put times and dates to it. They're realistic and achievable. You have the ability to do it, etc. But it's very important that you think about this. Now, if it's not specific and direct, it's like a camera, really. If you have your camera and you're taking pictures, let's say, of someone's birth wedding, let's say you are the photographer, and your pictures are not plain and clear, but they're out of focus, do you think anyone's going to buy your pictures? As a matter of fact, they probably sue you. they probably sue you for actually messing up their wedding. And I think people ought to sue you for not making your goals clear. I think you should be sued. Well, anyway, now I'm showing you what to do. Then I don't think no one will want to sue you. I will just saying I want to lose weight is not good enough. Say I will, and notice how I put it. Not I want to. I will lose. Notice how I put it. Very positive. I'm coming to that in a moment. Very positive and very specific and direct. Very plain. I will lose 1 stone by Wednesday, the 1st of January, 2020 at 3 p.m. Man, that is clear. And not only is it clear, also is measurable. And I'll come to that shortly. But you must make sure that your goals are specific and direct. There's no beating around the bush. You're getting straight to the point directly. All right. Let me say again. Let me go back to the previous slide. Is my goal realistic and achievable? Can I achieve it in the time scale? If I said I want to lose weight 1 stone by tomorrow, well, that's not realistic and achievable, is it? Unless I'm going to cut off certain part of my body to achieve that. Do I have the ability to do it? Do I need to develop further to be able to have the capacity to do that? Once it's realistic and achievable, it's realistic and achievable, make sure it's specific and direct. Make sure. Now, I want to move to one of my favorite indisputable laws of goal setting, which is your goals and your vision must be in harmony with each other. Let me say this again. Your goal and your vision must be in harmony with each other. You can see the root there. The most important part of a tree is not the seed part of where the seed is, or the fruit and the branches. Once you have sown that seed in the ground, the most important part of that tree become the root. And I'm suggesting the root is your values, and the branches and the fruit is your vision, what you're aiming for, what you're trying to achieve. Are you following me? So here is the root of the tree, which is the most important part of the tree, which is the values. Your value represent, listen to this carefully, your value represents who you are. It's the most important part of who you are. What is the most important thing to you in life? Okay? Never do anything that violates your values, and your goals must be in line. Notice now, if you have, let's say, a value of, let's say, one of the things you hold dearly is that you will never cheat or steal or do any of those things. But make sure your vision is not going to cause you to violate that or to go against what you believe or practice or deem to be true. I hope that makes sense. Now, when you set your visions within these areas, okay, they must be in line with your values, okay, the root of who you are. They mustn't violate that. And your vision is coming out of your values. Now, for me, the most important value for me is number 8 on the list. My spiritual life. My spiritual life is not the church. Church is number 3, community involvement. But my spiritual life is my relationship with my God. My personal one-on-one relationship with Him. That's my greatest value. That's the most important thing to me in life. That's the thing that's at the top. Nothing else on this list compares with my relationship with Him. And therefore, that's how I function. Now, my second value on the list is indeed my family. My family, yeah. Which is number 1. Number 5. And then after that, number 3, the church. God, family, church. That's how my priorities are. That's my values. That's what I've set. You got to set your own. So when I look at my route, I know what's there. So whatever I pursue now must not conflict with my value system. It must be in line with. It must be in harmony with. Because if it's not, you're out of sync. You're out of balance. And it's not going to work. Because every tree produces after its kind. Wow, that is really an amazing statement. The seed you sow is what you will reap. So it's very important, therefore, that you keep that in mind, that tree, and so on. It's not the fruit that's most important, it's the root. Okay? If the root wasn't there, the tree would die. So you want to make sure that your values represent who you are. That's a true statement. It represents who you are. So what is the most important thing to you in life? I like what Martin Luther King said, and most people may not necessarily agree with this, but a statement was made where it says, if you have not found a cause in life worth dying for, then you're not fit to live. What would you die for? What are some of those things that you would die for? You know, would you die for your family and so on and so forth? Well, that becomes a top priority value for you. But whatever you pursue, your purpose, your goal, your vision, and so on, must be in line with who you are, or else you're going to be unhappy and frustrated. Okay? And I just want to warn you of that. Law number 8. Powerful law, this is. It must be measurable. Your goal must be measurable. It's hard to manage what you can't measure. It's hard to manage, may not be impossible, somebody say, but it's hard to manage what you can't measure. If you can't measure it, how are you going to manage it? So when you set goals, you want to start with the long-term goal. That's where you start. You know, I want to achieve this by the end of the year. Let's say 12 months from now. So your medium-term goal is saying, where will I be in 6 months' time? on your short-term goals is, what are those things that I need to do today to achieve those goals, or this week, or this month? So it's very important. Now, let's say, for example, your long-term goal is to lose 1 stone by the end of December. That's your long-term goal. So in 6 months, you should have lost half a stone. And then what are you going to do in the short term? What are going to be your daily routine, your daily activities that will enable you to reach where you need to be in the medium term in 6 months, which is half a stone, to reach the long term, which is in 12 months, which is 1 stone. That's measurable, because you're plotting on this chart, as it were, where you should be at certain increments of time. That's measurable, and that's manageable as well, because it's easy to understand. So again, I repeat, you want to lose a stone in 12 months, that's your long term. But in 6 months, medium term, you'd have lost half a stone. And your short term is the things that you will do on a daily, weekly basis to help you to achieve the medium term, which helps you to achieve the long term at the end of the day. But it must be measurable. It's hard, very difficult to manage what you can't measure. Just to say, well, I just want to lose some weight this year. Well, it's fine. But how much weight do you want to lose? Now we begin to get specific. We now then begin to look to see whether or not it's realistic or achievable at all. Law number 9. And this is indeed a powerful law. I just got 3 more slides to show you, and then I'm through. Be careful what you say. Now, I want to show you a scripture that indeed will help you to understand the point I'm making. Now let me go to Proverbs 18:21. You will see here, death and life are in the power of the tongue. Wow. What a statement to make. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Now, going back to the point here, is be careful what you say, because there's death and life in your mouth. Do not say I would like to or I want to achieve this. It's demotivational language. You know, instead say I will achieve this, and then put a date and time to it. I will achieve this by the 1st of December, whatever, 3 p.m. Be positive, man. State this thing with positive. Positive attitude leads to positive actions. And negative attitude leads to negative actions. Use your imagination and visualization power positively. Think positively. Talk positively. Don't be negative about the dream and the goal you're going after. Be positive. I will. Not I would like to. Or I hope to. No. That's negative language. I hope to. No. I will achieve this. I will. That's the way to talk. I will achieve this. Now, somebody might say, aren't you being presumptuous? It's called faith. Speaking of those things that be not as though they were. I want to share with you a story. When I got involved in this community project, it was a long battle trying to get the money that we needed to raise. We needed to raise 1.8 million in 6 months, and we did it. And then we needed to raise a further 5 million to build the project. So what we did, well, what the chairman did was, we got an architect to design us a model of how the building would look. I just want to show you something about positive attitude. And so we had a physical construction, physical one. I was speaking to my chairman this week, Leonard Johnson, about that. And I would pay any amount of money to get that model just to show people. But we built it of how the project would look. And then we walked around the country giving lectures. And we would say, the wine bar is going to be over there. The business unit is going to be over there. The training facility is going to be over there. The sports hall is going to be over here. The restaurant is going to be over here. And the reception is going to be under here. And all the offices over here. We walked around the whole country for I don't know how many years telling people where things were going to be. It was only recently when I look back at it, I realized what we did. We were speaking so positively, we were attracting everything to ourselves. We were attracting people, powerful people. We were attracting money. And I'm suggesting that you use your visualization and imagination power that God has given you positively. Don't use it for negativity because it will destroy your life. Hear what the scripture says in Proverbs 23 verse 7. Let's go to that. Proverbs 23 verse 7. He said, for as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Wow. What a statement to make. In other words, I like to put it this way. You are where you are in life this evening because of the way you've been thinking over the last 5 or 10 years. You are where you are because of your thoughts. Listen carefully. You're not where you are because of the politicians or because of your church. People love to blame the church or the pastor. You're not where you are in life today because of your family. No, it's because of this, the way you've been thinking. In fact, there's a book I'd love for you to get a hold of. It's called Think and Grow Rich. Think about the title. It's one of the most powerfulest books ever written. Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich. Powerful title, eh? So be careful how you're thinking. Be careful how you're using your imagination. All right? Do not say, I would like to or I want to achieve this. Instead say, I will achieve this by date and time. Put the date and time in it. Very important. Think positively about your dream. Talk positively about it. Think and talk positively about it. Be careful how you think and talk. And my final indisputable laws of goal setting is you must have a plan. You must have a strategy. If you don't have one, trust me, you do have one, and that will be for failure. So, if you fail to plan, what happens? You really do have a plan, and the plan is to fail. Therefore, plan your work and work your plan. I like what Zig Ziglar said right at the bottom there. You can see that quote at the bottom. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start in order to be great. It's a great statement, isn't it? Here is the simplest planning strategy that I've ever come across in my entire life, and I strongly recommend to you that you make a note of it tonight and don't go to sleep before you record this. Write it down. It's called the 5W, W, H, and 4 R's. I've made it very simple for you to remember. So when you take your goal, you make sure you have a strategy for all your goals. If you have 100 goals, you need 100 strategies. Now, you take the first one and ask yourself, why must it be done? In other words, what's the vision for this goal? What's the purpose of it? And you write it down. What are all the things that needs to be done? What must be done? What are all the things that need to be done? What are all the things that need to be done? List them all. Where will it be done? And by when must it be done? And how will it be done? What are the resources, including the cost that's needed? What are the risks that are associated with it? When will you review? And I strongly recommend that you always review before, during, and after. Always. And make sure to reward everyone that was involved. You could use this particular strategy to run the entire country of the United States of America. No matter what project you have, no matter what scheme you have, this model will work. So I strongly recommend, get your phone out. If you don't want to write it down, let me take my picture of the screen. Get your pen out. Sorry, or your phone, and just take a snapshot of that while I read. Blessings to you, Brother Michael. Blessings to you. Thank you for your thoughts. All right, I think I've given you enough time to take out your... I didn't want you to snap me in the picture. Or you could always come back anyway and do the recording of this. Yeah? Perfect. Now, I spent just over an hour going through what I call ownerships. Now, you don't have S on ownership, but I do. And so you must own the goal. That's law number one. You must own the goal. Whether it comes from God or whether it comes from somebody else or from yourself, you must own it, take it personal. You must make sure you write the goal. Write it down. I've never been to any organization that doesn't obey this particular law. Wait for it. Be patient. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. Make sure every goal that you set has a time scale to it, because goals without time is just a wish list. Make sure it's realistic and achievable. Do I have the skills and abilities to do it? And can I do it within the time scale that I've set? If not, change it. Have I stated it specific and directly? Am I beating around the bush? Is it clear as to date and time of this goal? Is it in harmony with the vision? Is the vision and the values in harmony with each other? Remember, I talked about the value is the root and the vision is the branches and the fruit. Are they in alignment with each other? Can it be measured? Is it stated long-term, medium-term, and short-term? And remember, your daily activities is what's going to generate the power towards it. How have I stated it? Have I stated it positively? How are my thoughts and the words that I speak? Do I have a plan for it? Now, I'm recommending to you that you follow this RAT system that I have here. RAT system is called review it. Review these things at least every day for 21 days, then twice a week, twice a month, and then twice a year. If this is valuable to you and you feel that you could, learn from this and put it into practice, then action it immediately. Finally, share it with other people. Teach it to other people. Especially if you have children, make sure you show it to them and teach it to them and make sure that they understand it. Now, if you refuse to do the RAT system that I'm just giving you here, you will lose 25% of what I've spoken about in the next 24 hours. Research has shown, no matter how good you are, you will lose 25% in 24 hours. You will lose 50% of the information in 48 hours. You will even lose 98% in 2 weeks. It will then become a waste of your time tonight, having been here with me. In other words, it was pointless you coming because you can't remember what you've learned. Because so much things are going on in life. Your work, your family, and church, and community, and all of that stuff. It's very difficult to remember everything that you have learned from tonight's session for the hour and a half that we've nearly been here. Right, before we close up, I want to say thank you all for coming. I'm not finished yet. If you have any questions for me, please, you can call me again, as I said before. You can call me on the number on the screen here, 0203-289-4567. And thanks to Clive and Brother Christy. Great to have you guys. And those of you that don't know Mr. Christie, that's Linford Christie's father, the Olympian, the great Olympian, gold medalist, Linford Christie. That's his father online, and I want to say blessings to you, sir, and to Clive. Again, I want to thank Pat. Pat's always the first one here, and love you guys lots, and appreciate you guys being here. You can also text me on 07956872141, or you can just chat to me in the chat room. I just wanted to show you guys something, and you may want to take advantage of this. Make a note of this website for me. It's a website that I'm building, twfi.org. Take a look and see what you think. And let me just take a tour up there for a moment, if I could find that page. All right, there it is. I think that's it here. Yeah, this is the page. And it's really an amazing page. Actually, these are my daughters here. Actually, let me go back to the first one. This is Fanta, my daughter. And that's me. And then this is Pepsi. She's a fashion designer. She designed clothes and all kind of stuff like that. And we do quite a lot of services. So when you come here, you can see some of the things we do, and some of the services that we provide, and so on and so forth. You can get in to see that. But in particular, I'd love for you to click the membership button, and that will take you to a membership website that I have designed. It's a $9.99 per month website, $9.99 per month, and yeah, and then people can just join by $9.99, and inside basically some of the most amazing information. I do have up here, you will see my profile for those of you who don't know me. There's some information here about who I am. I shared a bit earlier, clients I've worked with, courses I've run, and also some of the testimonials I've had from people who have been on some of my courses, and press release and conics and all kind of stuff here. And then obviously people can come here, and let me just refresh this page and see. Yeah, then obviously there's a booking form right at the bottom if people want to book me to run any of these courses and so on and so forth. I have a retreat coming up as well, believe it or not. I have a retreat coming up. It's £549 for the retreat. It's a retreat taking place in June of this year, 1st to the 3rd of June, and it is going to be amazing. So you'd have to go to that website, and you will see that. And we do events management as well. And if you got any events that you want us to take to organize on your behalf, then there we are, Pepsi designing your clothes for you and all kind of stuff that is provided, and there's Fanta again. So I just thought I would share that with you, but in particular I'd love to share this with you, you know, this university that I've created, and it's $9.99 per month for that, and wow, you will love it. Anyway, that's enough of that. All right. Well, I think that's it. There are no questions for me. Let me end on this slide that I think is so powerful. And this is the way I remember the 10 indisputable laws of goal setting. What I do specifically is that I just picture this particular slide, ownerships and rat, and that's the page I really want to remember. And let me say again, if you obey these laws, you will be happy. You will be happy according to the scripture of Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 18. Where there is no vision, the people perish. So it's extremely important, therefore, that you have a clear vision of what it is that you want to achieve. And my job is to help you. If you need to contact me at any time, please don't hesitate to do so. I don't see any questions or comments for me. So therefore, I take it that there's nothing for me. So again, I want to wish everyone a wonderful, wonderful week. If you do have any questions for me or any comments that you'd like, you have my details, and you can always come back to me. This has been Errol Williams, wishing you a fantastic week. If you do have any questions, as I said, for me, you can contact me. You know how to reach me. Very, very easy to reach me, in fact. If you ever forget my details, just type in Errol A. Williams in your browser, and my details will come up. Again, I want to say, obey the law, and you will be happy. Until next time, take care of yourself and your family. Bye for now.